Hello, everyone. It's Friday again. We are back with Brewing Knowledge Fridays. The story about brewing knowledge is very simple. We try and enrich your knowledge base about why you do so many things in your school. आप रोजाना स्कूल में इतना कुछ करते हैं तो ये सोचने वाली बात है वो क्यों किया जाता है. Last Friday when we met, you were at the My Good School retreat, and I'm afraid our reception was not so good. So possibly some of you could not join us. I'm sorry about that. So last Friday, I'll do a quick recap. So last Friday, our recap was about performance scores must be honest and how difficult it is for teachers to actually give marks. Marks which are perhaps not as per the scheme or as per guidelines, if I may say that, but marks which are true to purpose, marks which have a meaning for the student. And above all, the purpose of assessment and marking is to help a child improve. आप मार्क्स इसलिए देते हैं क्योंकि आप चाहते हैं कि बच्चा इंप्रूव हो. मकसद यही है, मार्क्स का और कोई मतलब नहीं है. मार्क्स का मतलब ये इसलिए नहीं है कि आप किसी को अलग से दिखाना चाहते हो या किसी को डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली हार्म कराना चाहते हो या किसी को ज्यादा बूस्ट देना चाहते हो. मार्क्स का बेसिक मकसद है where we encourage everyone to compete with yourself. So that was the last week's session. The challenge today is how do you choose a curriculum? So we are reading the book My Good School Where Passion Meets Education, Choice of Curriculum. Before I start reading, does anyone have any questions which I can answer for anyone? Any question, anything you can ask regarding the book, why we celebrate this day, Friday, of book reading, and we call it Brewing Knowledge? I'm happy to answer that question. And then I shall read the chapter for the day. We have Avinash from DCM PE. We have Ritu Verma. We have Nitin. I can identify some people from the names. Obviously, there are too many Oppos and too many Samsung in the world. It's hard for me to identify them. So in case you wish to ask anything or you want to catch up with something you missed by, I have a few seconds to take your question, or else I will read today's chapter. Anyone here from Jamku Devi School? Please put your hand up or in the chat box say hello. Maybe it's a good idea in the chat box you write your school and city. That may be a good idea. That will give us an idea where we get people who are really interested in reading joining us on a Friday evening. It'll be a good one. So in the chat box, please write your school name and city. Even if you don't write your name, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, excuse me, I have a very bad cold in the throat, but I will still read this chapter. Choice of curriculum. In ancient times, India had the Gurukula system of education. Some people call it Gurukul. Then we, like in Sanskrit, we put an A in front of it. So it's okay if you call it Gurukula or if you call it Gurukul. In ancient times, India had the Gurukul system of education in which anyone who wished to study would go to a teacher's house and request to be taught. If accepted as a student by the Guru, he would then stay there with the Guru and help in all the household activities. This not only created a strong bond between the teacher and the student, but also taught the student everything about running a house. The Guru taught everything the child wanted to learn, from Sanskrit and the whole scriptures to mathematics and metaphysics. The student stayed as long as he or she wished, or until the Guru felt that he had taught everything he could teach. All learning was closely linked to nature and to life, and not confined to memorizing pieces of information. In this entire paragraph, we kind of have a gender imbalance because if we read historically, the guru is often shown as male, and the shishyas were the princes who would normally went to the guru, or people, boys in particular. So there is a real gender backlash which will come when I keep writing he. So excuse me for that. The modern school system, including the learning of the English language, was originally brought to India by Lord Thomas Babington Macaulay in the 1830s. Look, your modern schooling system is over 100 years old. I don't know how modern it is. The curriculum was restricted to modern subjects such as science and mathematics, and subjects like metaphysics and philosophy were considered unnecessary. Teaching was confined to classrooms, and the link with nature was broken. So was the close relationship between the teacher and the student. The central board and most state boards currently follow 10 plus 2 plus 3 pattern. I'm sure today, when we look at it, you have now come to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 system as per the new education policy 2020. In the existing pattern, 12 years of study is done in schools or in colleges, and then 3 years of undergraduate education for a bachelor's degree. The first 10 years are further subdivided into 5 years of primary education, 3 years of upper primary, followed by 2 years of high school. The National Council of Education Research and Training is the apex body for curriculum-related matters for school education in India. It provides support and technical assistance to a number of schools in India and oversees many aspects of enforcement of education policies. Other bodies governing the school education system are the state government boards, in which the majority of Indian children are enrolled; the CBSE, which conducts two examinations, namely the All India Secondary School Examination (AISSE) class and grade 10, and the All India Secondary School Certificate Examination (AISSE) class grade 12. The CISCE, which conducts three examinations, namely the Indian Certificate of Secondary Education (ICSE) class grade 10, the Indian School Certificate (ISC) class grade 12, and the Certificate in Vocational Education (CVE) class grade 12. The National Institute of Open Schooling conducts two exams, namely the Secondary Examination and the Senior Secondary Examination, All India, and some vocational courses. International schools affiliated to the IB program and or the Cambridge International Examination. Islamic madrasa schools, whose boards are controlled by local state governments, are all autonomous or are affiliated to Darul Uloom Deoband. Autonomous schools like Woodstock, the Shri Aurobindo International Center of Education, Puducherry, Auroville, Patha Bharman, and Anand Marga Gurukula. So this is a variety of boards we have in India. Additionally, the National University of Education Planning and Administration (NUPA) and the National Council of Teacher Education (NCTE) are responsible for the management of the education system and teacher accreditation. The structure and institutional change proposed by the new Education Policy 2020 will start unfolding in 2023, and we will need to wait for another 10 to 15 years to see any significant changes. This book was published in 2021 and today it's 2025. So don't worry about a bit of a disconnect, but it gives you the macro picture. School boards compete for better academics. Several city schools are switching from secondary school certificate to ICSE to IB program and Cambridge International Examination, citing excessive meddling by the state education department as the reason. Meanwhile, the CBSE is offering new subjects and courses for its students and is also promising no bag and no homework to primary students. ICSE too has been making similar announcements over the last few years. I would like to share some observations and views of heads of schools as reported by the Times News Network. See, in this book, you'll always find references, you will find links, you will find numbers which will open to hyperlinks, When an author writes a book, and I always repeat, it's important for us to give cross references. Curriculum. Most academicians believe that the SSC board syllabus is textbook oriented, while ICSE has a wider outlook for all round development of students, says Nandita Javeri, Vice Principal of the New Era High School, Panchgani. According to her, the ICSE curriculum has more practical applications than both CBSE and SSC. Educationist Kavita Anand adds that schools affiliated to ICSE have the liberty to choose from a large variety of books and authors available in the market for their students, whereas CBSE and SEC schools have to stick to books issued by the board. Some years back, the Times of India carried this news, and the TNN News Service caught up with educationists all over the country to solicit their views. Quality and relevance of textbooks. According to school principals, SSC textbooks have remained unchanged for several years, whereas ICSE books are more relevant to contemporary times. CBSE updates textbooks every year as a part of its frontline curriculum. 10% of irrelevant or outdated material is replaced with more pertinent matter, says Vrinda Malse, principal of Naval Public School, Mumbai. Exams and evaluation. So what we are trying to explain is this: how boards keep evolving, how they keep changing. I would like to switch to Hindi if some of us need it. हमारे देश में अलग अलग बोर्ड हैं और हर एक बोर्ड का महत्व है, चाहे वो स्टेट का बोर्ड है, चाहे वो सेंट्रल बोर्ड है, और कोई बोर्ड हैं जो केवल नेशनल लेवल पे हैं, जिनके लोकल ब्रांचेस भी नहीं होती. आईसीएसई एक ऐसा बोर्ड है जैसे कैम्ब्रिज है, आईबी है. ये एक तरीके से ओपन एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग और अपडेटेड करिकुलम है इनका. उसके 3-4 कारण हैं. एक तो इजी है इंप्लीमेंट करना, दे आर स्मॉलर. दूसरा, they have flexibility to do things which system does not allow. So CBSE has a very large role to play. CBSE के लिए चेंज करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है और टाइम लगता है, बट ऐसा नहीं है. Recently they have caught up. So now we go ahead. Exams and evaluation. In ICSE, students are evaluated in a variety of ways through the year. For instance, 20 marks are allotted for project work, says Javeri. SSC still encourages rote learning, and the test papers are essentially based on textbooks. Thus, qualitative evaluation of children, as done by ICSE and to some extent by CBSE, is not possible with SSC, says Ramakant Pandey, principal of Bansidhar Agarwal School, Mumbai. ICSE also scores on popularity charts among educationists, as it encourages students to do research and get into the habit of finding out and not just learning. Extracurricular activities. Let's compare now. CBSE has a well-networked state and national level sports activity set, according to Malse, which SSC schools cannot recruit teachers for such activities. ICSE gives a free hand to schools to recruit trained teachers. So you look at the affiliation, you have CBSE, you have SSC, you have CISE, and you have IB. You have IGSCE, 10, 12A. These are the levels of exams. So when you compare the boards, there is a chart here. We have essentially compared between two boards which are kind of popular and which have larger set of schools. So comparative study of CISE and CBSE is very clearly shown. CISE is only in English. CBSE is in English and Hindi. They both follow the pattern of 10 plus 2 plus 3, no difference. Pass marks in CISE is 35% in each subject in ICSE, 40% in each subject in ISE. For CBSE is 33% in each subject. This information may be dated, so I'm sure you'll excuse me for that. Because like I said, categorically, the book was written in 2021. When you look at books, allow books to select textbooks except for languages and other resource material. Define scope of syllabus. This is what CISE does. While CBSE recommends NCERT books. For candidates, only regular candidates are permitted to take the examination. Private candidates are not permitted in CISE. Regular and private are permitted in CBSE. Course of study. Education aimed to enabling students to acquire comprehensive knowledge, leading to enhanced, I'll read that from the next page. Examination-based curriculum is the focus of CBSE. Enhanced performance in competitive exams, that's what says CISE. In assessment, CISE has an effective evaluation which adapts to external changes, while CBSE has a traditional exam pattern. Please note, this is a very abbreviated and objective comparison. There is a growing list of subjects offered by the two boards. Parents, while selecting schools, should be aware of the board examinations, their scope, limitations, and their differences. Further information can be retrieved from the respective offices or websites. The choice of a school curriculum further adds to the agony of parents choosing a school for their children. Beyond plain simple economics and the way the boards compete to market themselves, the parents and guardians are often influenced by peer pressure and by the fancy of the children themselves. At the secondary level, the choice of school probably looms large in a child's mind too. He or she may have firm opinions, perhaps based on where their friends are going to. Parents and children must discuss it together. Try to get the child thinking in terms of his or her own needs, which may be quite different from someone else's. Talk to the child's teachers. They will have much to contribute and will be able to make certain recommendations. However, they cannot make the decision of the child. Begin by considering simple questions. So, what are the questions we should look at? What are the child's academic abilities? That's the question one. Second, what is the child interested in? Third, what are the things the child is particularly good at? And fourth, what are the things the child struggles with? So you must make a note of these four things. Schools for me are temples of learning. Only when we look up to this great place with due regard and purity will we ever develop as a nation. I wish I could visit a school every day and be with children as they truly make life more meaningful for all of us. As the best of our growing years are spent in the school, the choice of the school curriculum is even more important than the physical infrastructure and the geographic affinity. We pay for the services and the facilities. The school curriculum is standard and duly prescribed. The learning environment thus matters even more. The schools that work to deliver the curriculum with a child first philosophy are more successful and capture the imagination of many parents. So, we've just finished reading a book, Shomi Das, The Man Who Saw Tomorrow. And we are also currently reading the book. It's called Productive Failure. Productive Failure, we are reading on Saturdays. This is for the master class. And on the same Saturday master class, we also completed a book by Shomi Das, Man Who Saw Tomorrow. In both these books, we are focusing on what is child-centered learning. Why child first? You must refer to these books for more. CBSE versus ICSE. Often parents are confused between CBSE and ICSE. Which board to choose? What are the differences between CBSE and ICSE? Which board will be better for the development of the student? These are the many questions haunt the parents. You will find here the most comprehensive set of answers to these questions. Spread or prevalence. CBSE board is the most popular of the two by a huge margin. It is followed in 18,000 plus schools. Must have increased by this in India and abroad, thereby making it easier to find schools when you move to a new city. Schools outside India. Here CBSE takes the cake over ICSE. CBSE schools titled CBSE Videsh can be found in Middle East, South Africa, and even in some European countries. So you can move countries without significant disruption of education for your kids. Recognition by colleges in India. Both the boards are recognized by most universities and colleges across India. So marks for class 12 will be recognized. That is one less thing to worry about. However, some colleges have started the process of calibration of marks. This means they put an adjustment factor for marks obtained in one board to make it comparable with the other. This calibration factor often varies from year to year and usually favors the board with the greatest number of applicants, which in this case is the CBSE. Course content. Both CBSE and ICSE have significant different focus in different terms of course content. The CBSE content is more focused on science and maths, and more attention paid to application of knowledge. CISE, ICSE, on the other hand, is more balanced with equal focus on language, arts, and science. The latter is my personal preference. While I would want a more balanced curriculum for my child, it is up to what you prefer. Teaching methodology. Both CBSE and ICSE prescribe a certain teaching approach, and both have undergone significant change over the past 10 years. Generally, the focus is increased on learning through experience and experimentation rather than through one-way teaching. This is for the better. Ultimately, the quality of instruction depends upon the school and less on the board. There is not much to choose here. Freedom and flexibility. ICSE prevails over CBSE. There are a lot more subjects to offer from in class 12. Also, there is an option to take vocational courses based on interest rather than pure academic courses for class 12. CBSE has been improving over the years in terms of combination of subjects offered, but ICSE still has a lead. The focus should be on effective learning, which happens if the learning is active and if it is enjoyable for the student. Active learning, that is learning by doing, or passive listening or watching, helps a child retain up to 45 times more. Further, if they enjoy the learning process or outcome, then their interest and understanding increases manifold. Schools and teachers have to make special efforts to achieve these twin objects of learning and active and enjoyable. In the words of Peter McLaughlin, former headmaster of the Doon School, young people are looking for clear leadership at the national and international level from the adults in society, but see a woeful lack of intelligent, decisive, and ethical leadership in practice. We should teach boys and girls the theoretical foundations of influential leadership and how to make the calculated and informed decisions that are required to make a positive difference in the world. This is what most of the established curriculum are not being able to achieve. The curriculum needs to be supplemented with experiential learning at all levels. Education is to be filled with dynamism that helps us meet the aspirations of the young people. Today, we have schools that follow international curriculum and market themselves as offering quality education at a premium price. What is most important here are the teachers they employ. The choice of the board does not necessarily make a school better or even good as per the expensive marketing campaigns. What matters most is the quality of teachers and the training they have in rolling out the curriculum. Ensure you have the best mentoring for your child, and the choice of the board, though limited, will not be the key differentiator. Please list your priorities and make learning most enjoyable for the child. We'll take a pause here as this is a brewing knowledge session. We are more than happy to discuss, take questions, have your views, talk to you. Thank you, Ritu from Darson Brown World School. This is also DCM school, isn't it, Ritu Verma? Thank you, Suman, for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm so happy to see Darson Brown School coming in here. Thank you, Bhavna, for joining us. Any question, Ritu and Bhavna, anyone so far? Would you want to talk about something on what we have just read? Any question you have? We'll try and read one more chapter. Manisha, do we have time?
Yes, sir, we have time.
Yeah. So should we read one more chapter?
Yes, sir, you can go ahead.
Okay. So we were reading a chapter on the boards. Now, how do you build schools with quality? That's the question. This chapter you will find more interesting. The key to good education delivery is in the hands of the teachers. Thus, the first and foremost need of a good school is to have a teacher development program. So, this is the answer, Manisha, to the question we were asked this morning at a meeting. It is imperative that schools invest in teacher training as the number one priority. We need heart and soul and not just brick and mortar to make a great school. Teachers are the most important asset of any good school, and there is a need to help them, empower them, and give them the best of their career development. When teachers enter school, their first goal is their career. Today, this is an important need a management with vision must fulfill. A school that offers good training will have a lower attrition rate, and this in turn will help offer better education. Please note, there is enough evidence to show that it is not money alone that makes people happy. Good systems and effective use of technology is another way to help schools build quality. Teaching and learning is made fun with video, audio, and digital delivery. We can make the classroom an exciting and stimulating place. In addition, we must use IT, information technology, to help develop better processes. But when we put in place good processes and systems, the work environment will improve. There will be more accountability and better time management. Schools involve a lot of administrative work, and this makes the life of a teacher, the management, the parents, and more so the student difficult. Reports, record keeping, accounting, and transport management all make running the school a complex exercise. We now have reasonably priced solutions and a school management software and learning management systems, which make life easier for all at school. Find the best solution and deliver better with good systems. The third important element is the scholarship program in a school. Education is only complete if it is inclusive, secular, and affordable. We can only build a nation by having good schools that bring together children and people from all communities and groups aboard one ship. When in uniform, all children may look the same, but it is imperative that a school accepts children not only on the ability to pay the fee, but with a larger motive of laying the foundation of a great nation. The success of institutions the world over rests on the ability to find the best talent. To build the brand of the school, there is a solid need for having a well run scholarship program. The awarding of scholarships must be done by partnering with the community and should need be as well as merit based. So we specify should be need based and merit based. First need, then merit, since it is often the challenge of going to school that comes before the challenge of building a meritocracy. Training, having efficient systems and scholarships are the key elements for quality delivery in a good school. From high-end modern city schools to rural schools, all need to move from good to great. And this will only happen when we embed the three winning elements in the vision and mission of the school. For school culture to thrive, the three most important qualities are diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Diversity improves tolerance, empathy, and critical thinking. Inclusion or inclusive education provides a friendly atmosphere which helps in empowering students and staff. Belonging is acceptance and pride of the institution. These strong feelings build up confidence and belief and help build schools with quality. So today we have read two chapters. We will pause here because I wish to show you something more. So having read these two chapters, we have addressed two interesting parts. One, the board matters. Second, also what matters is the emphasis on teacher professional development. That's an important part. Because I think what I really say again and again is that emphasis on teacher professional development is what changes the school altogether. There really is no other way you can do this. You have to have focus on that. And when you're choosing a school, find out which school actually does this better. It's important for us to understand that if we do this, then only a school will perform or deliver. I also raised that idea of scholarships. I raised the idea of an inclusive school. That's what makes a school good. And my experience with schools across the country has been only when we accept children from all walks of life does the school become good. I know we can say that everyone has to pay fees, school has to run. I'm not denying that at all. But matter of fact is that everyone has to live together. And if you look at a family is as good as we keep it together. So it's important for us to keep the family together. And by doing that, we should no way not look at everyone getting a fair opportunity. That's the story about the two chapters. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer. I'm also willing to show you something exciting that happened last week and why we were not able to share our day with you last Friday. We are sorry about that. We were in a location which was far away. We were attending the My Good School retreat. So I'm just taking you over to the page. It is called Joy of Learning Diaries. So we have this camp twice a year. Last weekend, we were there at the Arthur Foot Academy in the Rajaji Sanctuary. So we had students from, I just mentioned, good schools, schools where need and merit are looked after. So some of the students came from the Sunbeam schools, Gyanodaya, Purkal Youth Development Society. So you must go to the Joy of Learning Diaries blog and see what we did there. Interesting bit is that our students got together and created logbooks. So if you go there, you'll find it very interesting what they learned with us, what we did with them, and how their life was for 4 days, focusing on service, skill, sport, and study. These four elements make my good school. So the children have explained that in the logbooks. Enjoy that. In addition to that, we have a calendar at Good School Alliance. If your school is a member, we would love to have you join us on Thursdays. We have poetry sessions called MAP, music, art, and poetry. On Friday, we are with you for Brewing Knowledge. Then before that, we also celebrate Saturday Masterclass and Sunday My Good School. So technically, we really have a long week. And what we do in the week, we publish every Wednesday in a newsletter. So this week's newsletter is here. It's called Good Schools of India. Have a look at the newsletter, catch up what we did last week, and encourage your school to participate more in our programs. Yes, some of our programming is open to public, but most of our programming is only for schools who are members of the Good Schools Alliance. If you wish to subscribe to this weekly, you can do that. You will get the updates by email. You can go to the website gsi.in and subscribe to the weekly. Thank you so much. That's all I have for today. Manisha, over to you. Manisha, ma'am, would you like to add something?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
I hope you all have enjoyed today's book reading session. Do you have any questions to us?
It
Or
was
do you wish to
self-explaining.
know something more about what we are doing here and like how you all want to go ahead? Any questions? How may I assist you in something?
Ma'am and sir, it was explanatory in its own self, and we have understood really the wide difference between what sir wants to just convey us all.
Thank you, ma'am. Suman, ma'am, you want to ask a question? I consider you a session host. We have to give 3 cheers to Suman, ma'am, who encouraged us to do this Friday reading. Suman, ma'am, anything you want to add? Thank you, everyone. We will read next Friday again. Our bookmark for the book. Manisha, ma'am, will you share the bookmark in the group?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just add the bookmark there. If you wish, I can quickly do a Kindle share and highlight the bookmark again.
Yes, sir.
We have today read 2 chapters, and the chapter next week, which we read, we'll try and read 2 every week because chapters are small. So I'm adding the bookmark to our conversation. You can share, and when you share the next Friday's reading on Thursday, the link, you can please add that we will be reading this chapter, Fun in Learning. Learning is fun.
Sure, sir.
Thank you so much. See you next time. Until then, keep brewing knowledge. Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot, sir.
Bye bye.